Title: Man and His Symbols Explained. The symbols you see in dreams are not random. They are messages from parts of yourself you do not yet understand. Every night, while your conscious mind rests, something deeper begins to speak. Not in words, but in images, in places you have never been, in faces you have never seen, in situations that feel more real than reality itself. Most people ignore these signals. They wake up, forget, and move on. But according to psychologist Carl Jung, these symbols are not meaningless. They are the language of your unconscious. And if you learn to understand them, you begin to understand yourself. Modern man has mastered the external world. He can build cities, control machines, and access infinite information instantly. But in doing so, he has lost contact with his internal world. We are taught to value logic above intuition, productivity above reflection, noise above silence. From childhood, we are trained to suppress anything that does not appear rational. Fear, vulnerability, instinct, imagination. These parts of us do not disappear. They are pushed downward into the unconscious. And the unconscious does not stay silent forever. It communicates through symbols. This is why a man who appears strong during the day may dream of being chased at night. Why someone who feels in control may dream of falling. Why someone who ignores their emotions may dream of drowning. These images are not accidents. They are compensations. The unconscious shows you what your conscious mind refuses to see. But modern society has removed most of the structures that once helped humans understand these signals. Ancient cultures had myths, rituals, and symbols everywhere. They saw meaning in animals, in nature, in stories. Today, symbols still exist, but most people do not know how to read them. As a result, many men feel lost without knowing why. They experience anxiety without cause, emptiness without explanation, directionlessness without visible failure. The problem is not outside. The problem is disconnection from within. The unconscious does not communicate in sentences. It communicates in symbols. A symbol is something that represents more than its obvious meaning. It is a bridge between the known and the unknown. For example, dreaming of water often represents emotion. Calm water may represent peace. Violent water may represent emotional turmoil. A house often represents the self. Different rooms represent different parts of your personality. A locked room may represent something you have avoided confronting. A shadowy figure often represents what Jung called the shadow. The parts of yourself you reject, your anger, your aggression, your fear, your potential for destruction. But the shadow is not purely negative. It also contains strength, courage, and energy that you have not yet integrated. When ignored, the shadow appears in destructive ways. Sudden anger, self-sabotage, impulsive decisions. When recognized, it becomes a source of power. There are also universal symbols called archetypes. These are patterns that exist in every human mind, regardless of culture or time. The warrior, the king, the child, the mother, the trickster, the hero. You see them in movies, in religion, in stories, because they exist inside you. The hero represents your potential for growth. The shadow represents your hidden self. The wise old man represents your inner guidance. Dreams use these archetypes to show you where you are psychologically. If you dream of running away, you may be avoiding something in life. If you dream of climbing, you may be striving toward growth. If you dream of being lost, you may lack direction. The unconscious is not trying to confuse you. It is trying to balance you. It reveals what is missing. When a man begins to pay attention to symbols, his awareness changes. He stops reacting blindly and starts observing consciously. He notices patterns in his emotions, patterns in his fears, patterns in his desires. He realizes that not every reaction comes from the present moment. Some come from deeper, older parts of himself. Instead of suppressing discomfort, he investigates it. Instead of running from fear, he asks what it represents. This creates integration. A man who understands his shadow is harder to manipulate, harder to break, harder to control, because he is no longer divided against himself. He becomes internally aligned. And when a man is aligned internally, his decisions become clearer externally. He moves with certainty, not because he controls everything, but because he understands himself. Most people spend their lives trying to control the external world, while remaining strangers to their internal one. But the symbols are always there, waiting. In dreams, in reactions, in moments of unexplained emotion. They are fragments of yourself, attempting to become whole. The man who ignores them remains fragmented. The man who listens becomes complete. Because the greatest mystery you will ever face is not the world outside you. It is the world within you. And it has been speaking to you your entire life. You just were never taught how to listen.